Hello again. Today I'm going to be talking about or answering a question that I've been getting about what time to send their kids to bed or what time to send your kids to bed. So here's what I've recommended. Here's what I've done myself. Children 7 years old and under. 7 years old and under. So that's anything from a toddler to school age. I think around kindergarten and first grade. Those children, I think, need to go to bed at 7 o'clock. They need a whole lot of sleep. They need a lot more sleep than a regular person or a regular child because they have to get they're a lot more active. They expend a lot of energy and they need to recoup that energy overnight. Plus, younger kids tend to be real cranky when you try to wake them up in the morning, and it's almost ridiculous trying to wake them up. So 7 years old and under, go to bed at 7. Pretty simple. Once they reach 8 years old, that's when I start upping the bedtime up to 8 o'clock. So they can go to sleep at 8 o'clock p.m. Up until up until middle school. So middle school is the cutoff point for 8 years old. So I think 8 years old is around second grade. Second grade up until fifth grade, they go to bed at 8 o'clock. That gives them enough time to do some activities, do homework and things like that. Now, some parents will say, putting my kid to bed at 7 o'clock for kids under 7, that's impossible. When I get home from work, I'm tired. When I get home from work, dinner's not made, things like that. We have homework to do, after school activities, things like that. I completely understand. You do what works for you. However, if you're asking me for what time to send the kids to bed, I'm saying 7 years old and under, go to bed at 7. Pretty simple. Again, as soon as they reach 8 years old or at that birthday, they now are a step up. So that's kind of like a rites of passage to me. They now step up to 8 o'clock bedtime up until middle school. Once they reach middle school, the bedtime is now 9. So 9 p.m. is when they need to go to bed. This progression not only is a rites of passage for kids, and they look forward to it, and they have to work hard to get to that point. But it also shows them that as you get older, you're going to wind up sleeping a little bit less, but you still have to maintain your obligations and your responsibilities to make sure you get everything done in the day. So middle school is 9 o'clock p.m. They can go to sleep from at 9 o'clock p.m. all the way up through middle school. So if your middle school is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, same rules apply. If their middle school is only 8th and 9th grade, or I'm sorry, 7th and 8th grade, then the same rules apply. For high school, it's now 10 o'clock. So obviously, if middle school was at 9 o'clock, then high school will now be at 10 o'clock p.m. Again, it teaches kids to be more responsible. It teaches them that there's a progression, that they're not still children, and that the later bedtime, they have to still maintain their responsibilities, and it teaches them that getting older, you wind up getting less sleep. So those are the parameters that I have. Again, kids under 7 o'clock. 8 years old up until middle school, it's 8 o'clock. Once they're in middle school, it's 9 o'clock, and then high school kids, it's 10 o'clock p.m. That's the latest that they can be up. Now, again, because it's a rites of passage, children need to maintain their responsibility level at each juncture. So if your 8-year-old now has a bedtime at 8, but they refuse to get up and take care of their responsibilities, well, now they're not showing the behaviors that are supposed to be done for an 8-year-old or for having a later bedtime. So therefore, they now get bumped back down to 7 p.m., which of course they hate, and so now they'll work harder to maintain those responsibilities so that way they can have a later bedtime. Likewise for middle school to high school, things like that. So they don't like to get bumped back down to a lower bedtime because they see themselves as being children or younger, or they can't watch TV, or they can't do some of the things that they would do if they had a 1 hour later bedtime. So those are the answers for bedtime. If you have any questions, comments, things like that, leave them. Otherwise, like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Help me quit my day job. Peace.